Welcome back to the channel where we mix things up, and today we're going to be doing an NBA starting power forwards 2019-2020 tier list maker. So we've done point guards already, shooting guards already, small forwards already, and now we have to do power forwards. We still have to do centers, and that will probably come. So the power forward is a pretty good position. All time you got Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kevin Garnett. But it's changed. Now you have to have stretch abilities, and a lot of stuff has changed. As you can see right here, disregard the Miles Bridges photo. So he's a small forward. So yeah, just disregard him. And just looking at this, I think Bam's the center, but it's okay. But before we get started, it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to the channel. We hit 51 subscribers from right now when I'm recording, and thank you so much. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, and I can only do that with you helping me out. Now let's begin. So first, let's explain this. We have the S tier, the A tier, and let me actually do this. Okay, so we're gonna have the B plus tier. I think that's pretty important. Because there are some pretty good power forwards. And then this one will be C plus. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's better. So explaining that we have S tier, A tier, B plus tier, B tier, C plus tier, C tier, and D tier. So starting off, we have Bielitsa. And he's going to be in the C plus tier. He's one of the best shooting power forwards in the league. He can really stretch the floor. Actually, I'm going to put him in the C tier. His defense is just not good at all. His defense is probably one of the worst in the league. But he's been in the league for like 4 years, and he was overseas, so he's still pretty old. I think the C tier is pretty good because of his stretchability, but his defense brings him down. Next, Julius Randle is going to be in the C plus tier. Julius Randle, a lot of Knicks fans were excited about him, but he just ended up taking the most threes on the Knicks, and that's not acceptable. He's been a ball hog. He's still averaging 20, I think 2010, but all Knicks fans like him, and in 2021 they're probably going to decline his team option. Next, AD is going to be in that tier. He's the second best power forward in the league. He can do almost anything. Really good defender, can shoot, dominant post defender, but he has to be really dominant to beat the Rockets. Right now the Rockets just beat the Rockets just beat the Lakers, and he only had 26 points. And PJ Tucker or Jeff Green was guarding him. That's not acceptable. Next, Aaron Gordon is also going to be in the C plus tier. Rod from the dunk contest. Everyone knows that. But Aaron Gordon has kind of been able to stretch, but I think he needs a new scenery. The Magic should trade him to maybe like the Suns, maybe the 10th pick, maybe. But alongside John Isaac, they're both powerful. So, and I think Aaron Gordon needs a new scenery, but really good dunker, pretty good shooter, and it's going to be in the C plus tier. Next, Porzingis is going to be in the B plus tier. He's not A tier level yet. He had that bad injury. He did pretty well in the playoffs, but he got injured for game 5 and 6, where thus the Mavericks lost. But he's such a good shooter. He's 7'3" as a power forward. That's crazy. But he's stretch abilities. He can hit the post moves. He's a pretty good rim protector. I think because he had that ACL tear, he might have been in the A tier, but he's going to be in the B plus tier. Next, Amari Carroll is going to be in the C tier. I don't know much about him. I mean, he's just, I think, a decent three-point shooter. Oh, let's move on. Next, Paul Millsap's going to be in the C plus tier. He's making $30 million. He's, of course, overpaid, but he's a good veteran presence. He provides good defense alongside Jamal Murray, who's a bad defender. Jokic is a bad defender, but he's definitely not going to get re-signed at $30 million. I think he should sign like a $10 million deal with a contender. I mean, the Nuggets are a contender, so he might re-sign, but it's going to be a cheaper deal. You can hit the three ball. This is not prime Atlanta Hawks on Millsap. Like, he was a consistent all-star. He was such a good player. He was the Hawks team that won 60 wins, but he's definitely past his prime. Next, Domantas Sabonis is also going to be in the B plus tier. He was an all-star in the East. Bradley Beal is snug, definitely. But he's a good post player. I don't know if he fits well with Miles Turner. he was out in the bubble, so that, and then they got swept by the Heat, and I think he was very important because Bam could have probably knocked him down, but I think the B+ tier is pretty good because he made the All-Star team as a pretty good play. Next, Zion Williamson. Okay, he's gonna be in the B+ tier. Yeah, I can't have him at the A tier. He's not healthy, but when he's playing, he's dominant, like super dominant. He destroys people. He overpowers people. He overpowered Giannis. That's crazy. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah. So Zion, freak of nature, but he still needs to be healthy, and if he might become in the S tier later. Next, Christian Wood's also going to be in the C+ tier. I watched the Clippers v Detroit Pistons, and he was an absolute stud. He can knock down the three-point shot, it hit the post defense, and like the moment Andre Drummond got traded to the Cavs, he started averaging 23 points. 23 points. I mean, sure they didn't win, but he's gonna definitely get a bag in the 2020 offseason, and hopefully Detroit re-signs it. Next, Lauri Markkanen's gonna be in the C+ tier too. Before last year would have been in the B tier, but Jim Borland just used him as a stretch big, and he's just not that. He's not that stretch big. He can attack the paint, isn't the best defender, but now that Jim Borland's out, I think he might have a most improved candidate season. Pascal Siakam is next, and he's gonna be in the A tier. He's kind of been choking in the bubble, but he's still the Eastern Conference All-Star starter, so that's still very impressive. The moment Kawhi left in the beginning of the season, he was averaging like 26 points a game and was on fire, and they were winning. So he needs to definitely step up to beat the Celtics. Jason Tatum has been outplaying him, and that's not good, and definitely needs to step up. Right now, they're playing right now. Last time I checked, it was in the second quarter, and it was 40-37. I'm not sure. Yeah. Next, Robert Covington's gonna be in the B tier. He hit some nice shots. I actually, on a YouTube account, I asked Robert Covington. I think it was Robert Covington, probably not. I asked him, how do you think of your performance? And he said, well, maybe not the real one, but he said that he had a really good offensive game and really good defensive game. He shouted out Chris Paul because Chris Paul is a beast. But yeah, he's a really good shooter. He's a really good defender. But the problem was Chris Paul was kind of targeting him. I don't know why, because he's a really good defender. But Robert Covington, they got him for like Nick Capella and their first round pick, so they need him to step up. Next, who is that? I don't know who this is. I actually don't know who this is. I'm guessing this is a Spurs uniform. Let me check, please. Spurs starting power forward. Let's see. So it's Rudy Gay? Oh, Brent Forbes. Brent Forbes. Okay, that makes sense. So Brent Forbes is gonna be, I think I already did him though. Okay, whatever. In the D tier. I don't know much about him, so we'll just move on. Next, Mikal Bridges. He's gonna be in the C tier. He's been developing a three-point shot. He's gonna provide that defense that the Suns might need alongside Devin Booker. And Aiden has been a decent defender, but can still improve. He's been alongside that lineup of Ricky Rubio, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton just when Aiden owned the bubble. That's insane. He fits well, and I think he was playing at the small forward position in the bubble, but since Kelly Oubre is going to come back, he plays powerful. Next, Danilo Gallinari is going to be in the B tier. He's not in Zion and Sabonis level, but I think he's better than Robert Covington. He's such a good shooter. He kind of choked when he missed that free throw in Game 7. That would have gave him momentum. But he's a really good shooter. Got traded for Paul George to match the salaries. He might not get re-signed. Maybe the Miami Heat are going to go for Giannis in 2021. But Gallinari, his defense still is not very good, but he's just a good fit on every team who wants to stretch big, but has good defense already. Next, Juan Hernan Gomez? Wait, Juan... Wait. Timberwolves lineup power forwards. Wait, I don't. This is let me see. How do I not know this? I don't know much about them, but oh, Juan Hernangomez. Yeah, it is that. He's gonna be in the where is he? Juan Hernangomez is gonna be in the D tier. Let me see. What are his stats? He averaged 6 points, 4 boards, 1 assist. Seems like he's pretty good. Oh, he's okay. I'm pretty sure they got him in the Malik Beasley deal, where they gave the Nets pick, which is going to be about 17. But he's just a decent player. Now Melo is going to be in the C+ tier. He definitely came back from when he was in free agency, but he just kept on working hard. He knew that one day he would get a chance. And then the Portland Trailblazers were like the 14th seed. And they gave Melo the chance. Many people thought he was going to put like 15 minutes a game and be a bench player, and he was willing to accept it, but he actually did really well. He fit well with Terry Stotts for the first time since he didn't fit in with Mike D'Antoni. And he flourished. He averaged, 16 points a game, stepped up in the playoff, hit some big shots. I think the C+ tier is fair. Oh, remember, this is not in any specific order, so this is not in any order. Next, Eric Pascal is also going to be in the C+ tier. He averaged like 16 points per game as a rookie. He's probably going to make an all-rookie team. A second-round pick. He's going to be a good rotational piece for the Warriors for the future. Can hit the three ball, can defend, can just do everything. Next, Rui Hachimura is also going to be in the C+ tier. This is about above average. He is a really good post player, really good offensively. His defense still is really bad, but the whole Wizards team defense is bad. I hope they can add once again a Neko Okongwu from the draft. That would be pretty big. But I think he deserves to be in the C+ tier. Next, Kevin Love. He's got to be in the B tier. I think he does deserve to be in the B tier. He can hit that three ball. He's been in championship teams before. He has championship experience. He should get traded because the Cavs are really bad. But his rebounding, like Timberwolves, Kevin Love, he was a beast. 20-20 every game. Basically every game. He had a 30-30 game. That's insane. He averaged 26 points a game, like 15 boards, and was like second in MVP behind like LeBron, Curry or Westbrook, I'm not sure. But I think the B tier, he might deserve to be in the C+ tier, but he still had a pretty good season. Next, Al Horford. Contract, he would be in D tier. But as a player, I think he still deserves to be in the C+ tier. Al Horford did not fit in at all with the Sixers. I think that the 76ers are built around Ben Simmons. They're not built around Joel Embiid. They're just not. But since he can kind of shoot, and that's what Ben Simmons needs, but Joel Embiid, they mostly got him just so no one can stop Joel Embiid because his defense was really good in Boston, but his defense hasn't been good at all. And he played really bad in the playoffs. I think he averaged like 6 points a game. And he's making $30 million a year. That's unacceptable. Next, Jason Tatum's also going to be in the A tier. He's kind of been outperforming Pascal Siakam, but Pascal Siakam was an all-star starter. But Jason Tatum has been a beast, like a beast in the playoffs. Put up his career-high 33 points against the Raptors. Been destroying the Sixers and kind of been destroying the Raptors. Kyle Lowry, epic pass to OG Anunoby. Shout out to Kyle Lowry. But he's just can hit the three ball. Has been shooting more of those. Good defense. He can hit the mid-range. Really explosive. And is probably a top 4 power forward in the league. Next, Marcus Morris is going to also be in the C+ tier. He's a good player. Can hit the three ball. Shoots like 40% from 3 for the Knicks. In the regular season, when he was acquired in the trade deadline, he didn't fit in well, but now in the bubble, I guess they've had more practice together and he's been performing pretty well. Next, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be in the B tier. Triple J is a really good player. He always averaged like 25 in the bubble. He got a torn meniscus. Hopefully you come back from it pretty well. The Grizzlies need you. But he's a good defender. The 4th pick in the draft. Can shoot the three ball, like I said. Is a really good dunker. Just a very good power forward in the modern NBA. Next, John Collins is also going to be in the B tier. He can hit the 3-ball too. He's very explosive. I think he was in the dunk contest. He tried to jump over a plane. I don't know if he did it. I didn't watch that one. But he can hit the 3-ball. I sometimes play with the Hawks, like in 2K20. I know 2K21 came out, but I haven't got it yet. And he's pretty good. He could hit the 3-ball, the corner shot, and is very explosive. Next, Bam Adebayo. No, it's Bam Adebayo. I know. Flight. Shout out to Flight. But he's going to be in the B+ tier. He was just an all-star. He's been clamping Giannis. Well, the whole team has been clamping Giannis. They're up 3-0. I think they're getting swept. I think he might leave. Giannis might leave and actually join the Heat. Because the Heat are a big market. And they have Bam and Butler, who are, of course, really good players. But Bam, a versatile big, what you want in the modern NBA. A really good passer, averages 5 assists a game. That's very impressive. Bam can also guard all positions. Well, mostly not like the Steph Currys of the world, but can also hit the mid-range. If he develops a 3-point shot, he's going to be unstoppable. But he's a center, so I don't know why he's in the power forward. Next, we have Royce O'Neal going to be in the C tier. He's a good defender, got a good extension, scored in the Game 7, got an easy layup. That's what you want some players to score in Game 7. That's still pretty impressive in crunch time. So, he's pretty good. Giannis is going to be in the S tier, of course, the best power forward in the league. He's choking, I must admit, against the Heat. He has a negative 22 PER, so that means he's a negative player. He has been Bam, Andre Iguodala, Jimmy Butler, and Jay Crowder have been stopping him. Same as like the Raptors last year. The moment he drives in, they all collapse on him. He passes out to a shooter, they close out, and then they try to get the ball out of Giannis' hand. Chris Middleton has been choking, kind of. Eric Bledsoe has been doing very well. But Giannis, I've seen a lot of people, like, I think Swish Out, he's a pretty good YouTuber. He said Giannis was not a top 5 player. I still think he is, but he's just been choking in the playoffs. When Jimmy Butler, a good defender, was guarding him. When Kawhi Leonard was guarding him, a good defender, they clamped him. And he was like in an interview saying like he was gonna do whatever the coach said. I'm like, it's good to follow the coach, but sometimes you're the MVP of the league. You gotta take over. The last one, ignore Miles Bridges again. PJ Washington is gonna be in the C tier. He had an amazing debut. Made like 7 threes. That's pretty impressive for a power forward. He can stretch the floor. I think will be their franchise power forward in the future, unless they get like, they're not drafting Obi Toppin. But I think he deserves to be in the C tier, not in the C+ tier yet, but can stretch, decent defender, and can do everything. So I'm going to review this list and see if I make any changes. So I'm actually not going to make any changes. I think this is a pretty fair list. So reviewing it, remember, ignore Miles Bridges. At the S tier, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Davis. A tier, Pascal Siakam and Jason Tatum. B+ tier, Porzingis, Sabonis, Zion Williamson, and Bam Adebayo. B tier, Gallinari, Rocco, shout out to you, Kevin Love, Jaren Jackson Jr., and John Collins. At the C+ tier, Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, Christian Wood, Melo, Lauri Markkanen, Eric Pashaw, Rui Hachimura, Al Horford, and Marcus Morris. At the C tier, Bielitsa, Damari Carroll, Mikal Bridges, Royce O'Neal, and PJ Washington. You might put PJ Washington and Mikal Bridges up, but I think I'm going to leave them there because they're not Marcus Morris level. And at the D tier, Brent Forbes, maybe, and Juan Hernan-Gomez. So yeah, that's going to be my list. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers one day, or 100 in the next week, and I can only do that with you helping me out. And I'll see you all next time.